Alright, what's up guys? Got a few minutes this morning. Don't see a lot going on, so figured I'd cover some of your questions for today. This is a wife-approved time to get some stuff done. Kids are not sleeping. She is not working, so I have time. Let's see, so the first question I had from this week was from Park, talking about the BNTC chart. So let's pull that up real quick. Actually, I already have it pulled up. So we're talking about this day right here, the 23rd, which is this move right here. It was really pretty simple. It was in play that day, which means it showed up on this scanner, which we've gone over the filters. Up on the day, increased relative volume, price over 3, sorted by volume pretty much. That's it. Anyway, so let's go back to the pre-market action that morning. And it's on the 23rd, so this is your move that day. I don't really trade pre-market. I know some people do. People make plenty of money that way. That's fine. I don't mess around with it. Most of the big moves happen that are predictable during market hours, so that's when I stick to my trading for stocks. Futures, different story. I trade those whenever there's something going on. So that morning we opened up above this gold line. You see that gold line right here? The high is $7. So let's just go ahead and put that on there. Make that solid, just kind of show that it's a qualifying level. Okay, so we went above 7, which is a high in our move down. And remember, yesterday I was telling everybody how we wanted to make sure it was a low. All your levels are associated with lows and a greater move down. All right, so we have this primary move. Which lost support. Any move down from here, if we get above that, we will have broken resistance. So this could be considered another move, even though it did not go above this high. And then we have this move down. And anything below, kind of when we broke this support here, say this is support, we broke that area. So basically any move down here or from here doesn't really matter right now. That's not what we're talking about. Let's remove all these lines. So we traded above 7. We opened above 7, traded above. That activates this level right here, this 529 low. And it was kind of difficult to see because you want it to be a new low, right? So if this low was higher than this, I would not look at this level at all. But this low is 532, this low is 529, so it is a new low in this move down. So the high that broke that low, so we had this move down to 529, it bounced up to 7, this move broke 529. So when we get back above 7, the move that broke 529, we can expect 529 to act as support again. Went above 7 right here, came down to 529, and proceeded to bounce from there. That's really all there was to that setup. I missed it, wasn't paying attention to it that day, but somebody asked me to cover it, so that is all there is to that. Let's just clear this chart. All right, so that was what I had there. All right, so Gregor asked, let's take a look at this one. I'll just move it over here for the time being. For a continuation, is it always the first support and resistance which made a new high that are important, or the last before the break of support? I guess the first is the major support and others following are the understudies. Let's take a look. All right, well, can't really tell where anything's anchored here. These are what I talked about with those just horizontal lines that cover the whole chart. They are not helpful for what we're doing, but that's fine. Let's go over the question anyway. So for a continuation, is it always the first support and resistance which made a new high that are important? All right, so let's look at, let's just look at this boozy chart. That's probably a little too big. Anyway. Alright, so on boozy, just go to a random spot here. So right here we have support, support, support in this move up, right? And then we've got resistance, resistance, resistance. Highs in the move up. These are just levels that validate things. These are not actual levels we're trading off of right now. These green lines. These are your qualifiers. Okay? So then we have this move down, that broke support. Alright, so as we are retracing this move, we'll just label it red, inside of here, the retrace really goes all the way to this point before we break this new high. We will call this blue. So as this blue level retraces red, we're looking at two things. We're looking at resistance from the gold move, right? You see this acted as resistance, this acted as resistance. As you break these green levels, it activates these gold levels. So you can see right here, this green level is broken. Right here, it already tested this gold level. Breaks this green level right here, doesn't come back right away. Breaks this one, comes back pretty quick and tests it. So from here, we're also looking to see if we get above the high that broke these lows. So just looking at 30 minutes, you could probably get more granular than this, but I would say this is the high right here that broke these lows. So once we trade above that, it should activate the support that this broke, since we have not. See, we didn't even come back and test it. So it activates this support once we get above this high. But this is the high that broke all this. That's a failure trade. Sometimes you don't get a failure trade. Sometimes it just goes straight to continuation. So from here, it broke support, bounced off resistance, bounced off resistance. This one was already tested. So when we get above this high, the next level that's available is this one right here. So let's activate that, pull that across. So there's our first level of support. Here's our next level of support. And you see how I'm talking about you guys need to work on support and resistance. You can see this is resistance. It acted as support here. It acted as resistance there. It should act as support here. Didn't quite test it, but got pretty close. Resistance, resistance, support, resistance. So really, tested this level, didn't quite get here, made a new high. Not really sure if that's what you're asking. We'll probably have to get some clarification on that one. But what you're paying attention to as you're making this high right here is this move should continue higher until you break support. So this could move up. We could have come down to here, made a new high, and then this would be your new line, because you continue in the same direction until you fail. And then a continuation is a failure of a failure. So continue in the same direction, we fail, and then we failed this failure by making a new high again. Continuation. From there, continue to go higher, and it creates new levels along the way. And you'll notice from here, we pretty much had this level tested. It got close enough and rejected. This level was tested. Our next level from this structure is right here. Surprise! It wasn't tested. It hits again, it bounces. It tests here. You actually had a failure move right here. Ran through it a bit. But from there, it continues higher. Then we recently tested this. It was pretty ugly. Kind of shot right through it and broke support in the same motion. So when that happens, this is why you have to pay attention to what's going on in real time. We broke this support, this green level. This is actually a larger level from the left that we just discussed. That was support, but we broke this at the same time. And remember, we're retracing, always paying attention to what our three moves are. So we're retracing here. This is our move up. This is the move on the left. So we've broken the support. Does this activate anything? Yeah, it does. Right there. So that's resistance now. We broke it. Even though we hit this major support, this is our next level of resistance. At the same time, if you look down here on this chart, we opened below the support. This would have been the move on the smaller level that broke that support. We get above it. It activates this level. We bounce from there. We shoot up to this resistance from here. Did we get above anything? Yes, we did on that move. We got above a few different things, but that's the last thing we got above. Get above there. And then this is the support that gets above that. We break this support. We come back. Didn't quite test that level of resistance. But that's the same failure trade in reverse. It's just the same thing over and over and over again. I'm probably going through this a little fast because it's just second nature to me, but you will eventually do it this fast. All right, so let's go to weekly questions. Didn't have a lot for this week. Okay, so weekly questions from Gregor was the same thing. I'll have to get clarification from you in the actual chat room. Let's see. So let's just do a little paint experiment for a minute, just to go over the setups. Microsoft Paint. This should be your best friend right now. So we have a move up. We have a move down. Up. And down, and up. Okay, so this is just a standard trend. Then we have support, and we have resistance, right? So as we break support, this resistance should act as resistance again. This is what a failure trade looks like. Okay? Now, the exact same thing, when you break support, here's your decision point. Do we create a failure trade and continue down? Or do we hit it, bounce off it a little bit, and then go higher and create a continuation trade? Same level, move from there. See how it's the same move? Right here, you've broken support, you have prior resistance. It's either a failure or it's continuation. There's no way for you to know in real time. If you're on a smaller time frame and you are just ripping higher, don't short this. Wait for this to continue and get long. Unless you've just broken major prior resistance and then failed right afterwards, because guess what? Past resistance is more likely to become present resistance again. So what we'll do is, this is how you practice. Take a little snip, paste it on there, go to rotate, flip vertical. Surprise, same thing. Support, resistance, support, resistance. Break resistance, now you've got a failure long, or you bounce, make a new low, failure short. Right? So here's the difference. When you're going down, and then we head back up, as you're retracing these levels, this is your support. Bounce off there, let's make that black. Make a new low. This will become your resistance as a failure trade. But this is now a short continuation. Bounce off there. Now what happens if we get above the high of this continuation? This continuation down move, because we broke resistance and then we broke support and made a new low. If we get above there, where do our levels go? Do they stay at the lows? Or do they move to a high? Just like we talked about in the prior continuation. Continuation long levels are always going to be highs in a move up. Continuation short levels are always going to be lows in a move down. Failure shorts are always going to be highs in a move up. Failure longs are always going to be lows in a move down. So, failure long and continuation short, lows, move down. Failure short, continuation long, highs, move up. That's it. Those are your main levels. There is much more nuance to it than that, but if you only learn those things, you'll make a ton of money. So, I'm going to wrap it up for today. We can do more questions in the chat. I'll try to answer some stuff while the market's kind of slow. Still just chilling with the S&P long from yesterday. Figured that was probably going to end up being a big swing trade. Probably it makes new all-time highs. Of course, we potentially have resistance around 39.59. I'll just show you that real quick before I wrap it up. Anyway, let's zoom in here. Here is my 38.44 level. We bounced. We had a little failure trade in there. Here's the level. We got above there. And then I've got untested resistance right around here, 39.59. We tested this already yesterday. Didn't think it would hold much. We have a continuation down move here. So if we were to get above 39.40s and test 39.59s, we'll probably come back down to 39.20 because that's resistance in this up move. That wouldn't then be a continuation long. Potentially back down here because we have context here with this prior resistance, and we also have resistance in this move up right here that acted as support multiple times. So we could get above 44, 45, hit 59. Don't even have to really hit 59, and can come all the way back down here to 39.04. That'll get everybody sufficiently panicked again, and then we can continue higher. So that's been your lesson in this method for today. If you guys got any questions, hit me up in the chat. I'm going to upload this video and put it in the archive. I will talk to you guys later.